Welcome to another episode of Guild Wars 2's PvE commentary. Today we're gonna take a look at Lonely Tower CM Fractal. So that means Epoch CM, and specifically requested by you, the Gluttony perspective. So the role that is only existing in this specific Fractal. I play a Willbender, which is by far the best option for this Fractal, by far for this role. I will first cover which kind of gear and build I'm using, because you need a special build to fill this role perfectly, and then I will give you a commentary of a full run of this boss fight. So, as always, special shout out to all my dear supporters that help me keep the lights on. Now, without much further ado, let's jump straight in. So for the build that you see here, we are running like a power-based Willbender. You can also play a Condi version, it doesn't really matter. There are some really important things though. You want to have as much multi-hits as possible because you take the Gluttony Orb. The Gluttony Orb gives you lifesteal on each hit that you do. It doesn't scale with anything, so you just want to hit as often as possible. That's the important part. It doesn't matter how much damage those attacks do. You just want to hit as much as possible. So you take, of course, a lot of Whirling Light, Purging Flames, Sword of Justice. You can replace that if you need more CC and go for Sanctuary, for example. But I would say those three give you the most amount of multi-hits. And then you have another CC with Heaven's Palm and some healing, some damage conversion on the Litany of Love. And you take Scepter, Sword for the most amount of hits again. Multi-hits, symbols are really good. And in the second weapon set, you want to run Pistol. Even though you're power-based build with this version here, you still want to have the Symbol of Ignition because it really helps you just to get more damage out. And of course, the Ray of Judgment here is another AoE that does a lot of multi-hits. And the biggest attack that you have is Rushing Justice because it is a multi-hit skill by itself on hitboxes that are somewhat big. And that means that you can hit multiple times and you get a lot of lifesteal procs from that. In general, that's the setup here. For the traits, let's quickly cover those. You want to go with Virtues just for a lot of damage multipliers, Concentration lasts longer, more damage multiplier, more damage here. That's just what you do, a lot of damage. And more with the Boon Seed. At top of that, you're power-based build, so you still want to deal a maximum amount of damage, even though it's mostly lifesteal based. And then you have Honor, which is the weird trait line that you take to get even more like symbols out. So when you cast your healing skill, you get another symbol out. You want your symbols to last longer because they are then hitting more often, makes sense. And then you just take some might on passive. Other than that, it's not really important. You also heal at the end of the dodge roll, but it's like almost nothing, so not really worth mentioning that much. Then you have Willbender. Willbender is of course more power here, and that's the most important trait here because it recharges your attacks by a quarter of a second whenever you hit or while triggered virtue effects happen. So that's really, really strong, and that means you can spam your attacks even faster, even more often. And that's the whole build idea. And then you just take Tyrant's Momentum for more damage output. That's like a full DPS build with some adjustments so that you just get as many multi-hits as possible. For the gear, you would run full Assassin's pieces if you full ascended and with some rings here. So the ring and another 2 accessories and the back piece would be Berserker, but everything else would be Assassin. And the most important part is, of course, that you go for a Relic of Atrocity because that increases your damage output by 15%. If you have exactly that gear set, or you can easily reach over 100k DPS, you will see that in the fight later. It's really, really easy to get that done with the specific setup. For the rune, you would go with Rune of Infiltration so that you reach exactly 75% crit chance. And if you can afford infusions with the power, then you would go with power ones. Other than that, you really want to get the 75% crit chance, and everything else doesn't really matter. You can also play a Condi build. It's really just the Atrocity Relic that matters in the weapon choices. This is the exact setup from Discretize, so credits to them. But this works even if you just switch your stuff around. It doesn't really matter if you have this perfect setup. What I would recommend though is going for Superior Sigil of Fire and Air, because that means that in the long run you will have more attacks, because those also count as attacks, also proc lifesteal. So that's important. And of course you want to have the lifesteal food because more lifestealing here with this one makes sense and more damage. For the consumables here, I didn't select it here because you can't get that here, but you want to go with Powerful Potion of Demon Slaying because that increases your damage by 10% against demons and you take less damage. Just perfect for this fight because it works. So here in the fight, this is a mediocre group, not too bad, not too good either. I'm playing this Gluttony Willbender and I'm trying to get all the Gluttony orbs. That's the most important part. So those orbs I should get. They are typically like orange, yellowish. You want to collect all of them. And they happen only when there is the spin attack happening that sucks you in. This is the attack that you have to take care. And when this is happening, the boss does it, you have to collect the Gluttony orbs. And that's the only important part. Other than that, you just deal as much damage as possible. Spam your attacks. There is no real rotation to this build. You just spam all your multi-hits as well as possible, I would say. And the F1 you should, that's the only thing that matters a little bit, you should cast it outside of the hitbox so that you move to the boss and then hit multiple attacks. If you cast it in the hitbox, you will not get all the hits of the attack. But that's the only thing. Other than that, let's just watch it. And of course, if you want to see a dedicated guide about what you should do as a healer, for example, check out my link in the description where I commentate different Fractal fights. This one as well, for example, as a heat chronomancer, where you have to do different mechanics here in this fight. And let's start. So in the beginning, just like you are not dealing that much damage. The sad part is here, you can see my damage is not the highest. You cannot see the lifesteal. I currently don't have any Gluttony anyway, but my lifesteal damage is not shown in arc DPS in this one. You can see it in the self-stats window, but not in this one. Short break here, I had a recording where I had the self-stats window open and you could see that I have over 100k DPS, but sadly this video was corrupted for whatever reason. So now I have to go to a rather still good version, but not good enough to see it here, sadly, so I couldn't showcase it, but it reaches still around 80 to 150k DPS if you have the self-stat window open, not this one though. And now let's jump back in. So here we now get this attack. The next one is the attack that, after this one is the attack that I have to take care of. So this sucking attack, this spinning attack, I will take the Gluttony orbs, just collect all 6 of them, really important. And then you will not give them to the boss, you will get the lifesteal instead, and now you just try to CC as fast as possible. You have some nice CC skill as well, especially your elite skill, and if your party does the CC well, almost no one gets sucked from them, almost no orbs get sucked from you, and that's really good enough to just kill the boss very fast. And we will just try to delay the damage a bit so that I will get a second attack of the suck attacks, of those spin attacks, so that I can get 12 stacks instead of 6, because that's just doubling my damage output, just straight up. You can see the small white numbers that you always see, those are the lifesteal hits, and they're really, really good. There we go, we get the next attack, so I can collect 12 orbs, and with this we can also face, that's exactly how we want it. At 65% we just face the boss, we have to kill some ads. I will try to focus the big ones, of course, try to deal a lot of multi-hits. We have a somewhat annoying Fractal instability here, but it's okay. I instantly go to the next one because my allies can close the rift, and I will deal as much lifesteal damage as possible to those mobs. So I will just speed up everything. Everyone else should close the rift here, I would say. You can see how much damage it deals. A lot of multi-hits. You almost cannot see the numbers here. We close the rift and epoch respawns. We again engage, and we will try to get one more Gluttony attack to avoid it. In general, it's really important that you just try to avoid attacks and CC when the breakbar happens, but you are almost unkillable. If you do not get one shot because of the lifesteal, you instantly heal back up, instantly. And of course you can use your healing skill on top of that. I always try to save it, but it would be a DPS increase because of the symbol. I just try to save it because you never know what happens if your group is struggling or whatever. And you can see how fast we skip to the next phase. Now we get the 3 elites mobs or champion mobs that we need to kill. Just attack them very fast, and because of that I instantly kill them. But be aware here, at some point the lifesteal orbs you can see slowly drop off. You cannot have them permanently, so I am now at 6. I lose half my damage almost, so we have to be a bit careful. In general, it's really good if you can do the ads phases very fast, because then you skip, so to say, or you save a little bit of time, and in general you will be done faster with the higher damage output. If you take too long, if you are get corrupted, if you're getting CC'd like I'm here, then that will just decrease the damage because you lose your stacks, and therefore you will just have less efficiency with this build. And that goes for the last phase as well. So try to be as fast as possible killing those mobs. And we did it here in the end. I still lost some stacks, which is okay. I will lose some more, but I will also get them back with the attacks happening again. So you can easily do it even if you're a slow group, but of course if you're faster than this group would be better, so that I keep my stacks and can kill the last phase almost instantly. But for now, I lost all my stacks, so I have to collect them again. We close the rift as fast as possible. Try to, of course, kill all of the avatars of Spite so that the epoch doesn't get that many stacks. Now CC again, and after that, hopefully we get another Gluttony attack very soon. I can also save my attacks here because I'm almost not doing any damage if I'm not having any Gluttony orbs. So I'm just waiting a bit, and hopefully we will get it done. I will dodge this attack, of course, and just try to deal some damage. Now we hopefully get this Gluttony attack very soon, because you can see I'm not doing that much, and hopefully we will get it. No, next one hopefully. And you can see even without it we can kill the boss, but it's not the best way. Now we collect the 6 orbs again. 6 would be enough to get something done. I will just collect them and engage the fight again. and jumping the attack and getting as much damage out as possible now with my lifesteal backup, dodging this attack, very important. And other than that, you just lifesteal as much as possible. Of course, when the CC happens, CC as much as you can. If you need more CC, take the Sanctuary like I said earlier. Other than that, just damage and damage and damage. Of course, you don't deal damage when there's the barrier, but you can still like do some auto attacks and stuff like that. Now you can fully engage again. You can see it, just spam your attacks. It's really like you don't have to have a solid rotation. It's just like pressing your multi-hit skills as fast as possible and as like priority-wise as often as possible. That's it. And you kill the boss, dodge attacks, and like I said, you will probably not die if you don't get one shot because you instantly heal back up to full, and that's the fight. Wasn't the cleanest one, but was also not the worst one, so hope that helped you. If it did, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. And like I said, check out the description of the video here if you want to see how it looks in different perspectives or different Fractal commentaries on top of that. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks again to all my supporters, and I hope to see you all in the next video.